In the global marketplace of this current time, humanity, all of us, are faced with three choices regarding faith. Firstly, we can carry on religiously as we are. We can continue, essentially, with our myopic, anthropocentric religious worldview, and the monotheistic faiths are, I'm afraid, especially guilty of that. Where no matter how I behave to the rest of life, if I am diligent in my prayers and honest in my dealings with other human beings, I will go to heaven. Secondly, we can choose a different religion, one which has a much more inclusive and sacralized view of the natural world and its divine right to self-determination, value, beauty, and existence. Or thirdly, and it's a big if at the moment, we can expect an awakening within the more apparently globally successful religions as to the plight of our very world. There are perhaps two litmuses to the future of faith that are available to us. One is the view of my children's generation, and by and large, they see religion as one entity, not separate entities. Or we could perhaps look at the prevailing trends within what is currently being ingested spiritually and religiously by the population. And here I am dealing with just the UK, America, and Australia. Go into any New Age bookshop or visit the spirituality section in large book retailers, and the first thing that becomes apparent is almost total lack of Christian, Muslim, and Jewish literature. Despite all of those religions being born out of an expectation of an imminent new age, it would appear that none of those religions feature largely in the new age to come. Maybe this is a legacy in this country of separating Christian publishing from the mainstream. And within the UK, certainly Christian bookshops are becoming a thing of the past. But within the New Age sections of large bookstores, you'll find Tibetan Buddhism, Taoism, and a great deal of tribal, earth-based spirituality. And Christianity long ago went down the theological road, and whilst this has produced a highly educated priesthood, it has done so at the expense of the imagination. So in the West, it is the Christian imagination that is failing to spark. And where Christianity is on the rise, as in China, it may well be suited to the culture, but in other parts of the developing world, it offers a framework for certainty and to some degree order. But all religions, all world religions, face the oncoming ecological wave and a complete shift in the manner in which we recognize our place and purpose within the natural world. This will have to happen because we have reached a point now where our survival, our very survival, depends upon it. Unless the anthropocentric, monotheistic, sky god religions can respond, it will be the religions with a robust eco-sacredness that I believe will generate the most response in the new world which all of us are moving towards. I would like to finish with an agenda for this new understanding of the sacred, as set out in a book called Soul Power. This is now one of the biggest selling books you can buy in New Age bookshops. What would a world be like based on a mindset that understood that all is one and interconnected? How soon could the knowledge that we live in a in a participatory world, initiate change in our thinking about war and our desecration of the planet? Would a world aware of the primacy of consciousness be akin to the world as seen by some of the indigenous peoples? Would we then see the cosmos as a living presence, and the whole universe and all of nature as intelligent? Would we discover that the physical laws of the universe were habits, evolving rather than immutable? Would we begin to sense other realities and other dimensions? When we realize that time and space are not fundamental dimensions underlying reality, would it change forever our ideas about death? Would we strive for unconditional love? How would human relationships, social justice, poverty, science, medicine, politics, the government and the military be reframed according to consciousness' primary perspectives? And lastly, as the wisdom embodied in the new values grows and begins to outweigh the vested interests of corporations and their influence on governments, we are developing a new ethical and moral framework within which to assess our actions and create an agenda for change. When this happens, we can expect the following to happen. The public refuses to finance the invention, manufacture and sale of weapons that inflict calamitous suffering on human beings and contaminate the soil for millions of years. As people discover their security within themselves and their communities, the need for security of nation-states is diminished. As like-minded people connect to a greater and greater extent across the planet, the willingness of states to fight each other is undermined. As people become more aware of the interconnection of everything, they reject technologies which harm and pollute the fabric of life and focus on developing technologies that protect and cherish life. This is the future for us all. If the faith system we happen to believe in is not speaking in this language, on these terms, then all of us who belong to those faiths need to ask why.